Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. And it is the moment you have been waiting for, or at least some of you. My review of Grand Seiko, particularly the SBGE 201 Spring Drive GMT. I bought this to replace my Rolex Pepsi GMT as my travel watch, and I've owned it, I got this mid-December, and now we are mid-January, so I've had it just a little over a month. Bought it brand new, of course, at a discount, never pay retail. And I've lived with it. Is it all hype, or is it substance? Let me get this hat off for now. I'm going to try and provide it as an unbiased opinion as possible. I'm going to tell you the things I love and the things I hate. But of course, before we get started, don't forget to check out delraywatch.com. A bunch of new watches in stock. Ooh, we got Speedy Reduced, a vintage Vacheron Overseas, a whole bunch of vintage Omega Speedmasters on straps, the Mad Men era stuff. Very, very cool. I've got a ceramic sub coming in tomorrow as well, Box and Papers 2018, a blue Tag Heuer Link chronograph, a few Gerard Perregaux, a bunch of new stock has happened, and actually, we've lowered a ton of prices on some older inventory. Go check out the hot deal section and scroll down. A lot of prices have changed. It might be a great time for you to pick up a deal. Link in the description below. But anyway, let's get right into this. SBGE 201. Spring Drive GMT stainless steel with the sapphire cap bezel and the loomed bezel. Of course, spring drive, so it's a hybrid of quartz and mechanical. I've worn this for quite a while. You know, for the better part of a month, almost every day. Replaced my Pepsi bezel GMT, which I just fell out of love with. Now, a lot of people, if you may know if you followed this channel, or you may not know if you haven't, that I'm not the biggest Grand Seiko fan, particularly spring drive. I consider it to be more quartz than mechanical, and while I recognize that Grand Seiko has made some fantastic watches, I'm also very, very honest. I have a little bit of trouble paying for something, this much for something that says Seiko. Call me a snob if you want to. I own a Seiko, but I'm being honest with you. I don't know anybody else that would say that on YouTube, so there's that. Once again, the spring drive thing, and it just kind of left me cold. However, this is one I've been eyeballing a while, and I figured, what better time than to do an experiment? I got it for a pretty good price, so I'm not going to lose on it, and who knows? I may find an appreciation for a whole other part of horology that I didn't before, and this is what this is about. It's a hobby, right? Loving stuff, not liking stuff, learning more about it. That's the important part, the experience. So I've made a list of things I love about this watch and a list of things that I don't think are great. And then I'll tell you in the end if I think it's a keeper or not. So the first good thing, and I've borrowed some pictures from tideandtidewatches.com and the Grand Seiko website because their photography does this justice better than mine. The case finishing is top notch. Zaratsu polishing, the bevels, the way the case is just finished is amazing for the price point. I mean, it's a $5,000 retail watch, I think $5,800 retail watch, and this goes above and beyond anything at this price point. Better finishing than Omega, better finishing than a Rolex. I think you don't see this type of finishing until you hit, kind of the true hand finish stuff in the $20,000 price point. Second thing is, I think the bezel feels great. The action is fantastic. It's very precise. It's dual, it can be rotated, in two directions because it's GMT. I think the lume is fantastic, and the materials with the sapphire, absolutely top notch. The dial. Even though it looks like a simple black dial, if you look at a picture here, the anglage of the applied hour markers is top-notch. The printing is crisp. The hands catch light beautifully. Once again, this watch is about details. Fantastic details, very, very high quality. One thing I will not deny about this watch is it's extremely high quality for the most part. Top it all off, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I think it's one of the most detailed and watches with the best finishes in this price point, bar none. Is that enough though to topple some of the slight issues I've had with it, both mentally and physically? Maybe, maybe not. First bad thing, this buckle. God, this buckle is awful. Not in the finishing, it's very beautifully finished, but zero micro adjustment. No micro adjustment at all. Not even the old school version where you can put a pin in and slide it in and out. The only adjustment this watch has is links and half links. That is just not enough. I can't get a perfect fit on this watch. I mean, I can get pretty close. But guys, how do you do such a fantastic job with the watch and have such a poorly designed buckle? I'm not sure. Next is the bracelet. I think, once again, finishing great, and overall it's pretty decent, but it's a little loose. You can even kind of hear it. There's a little bit of play there. A lot of people will say that makes it a little bit more supple and easier to wear. Personally, I think the tolerances aren't great on the bracelet, and I've heard many people complain about it as well. Third is something that bothers me mentally, something that hasn't really happened but will happen eventually. And that is, I can't have this serviced locally by an independent. That might not be a problem for you guys, but I'm a watch dealer and I've got a watchmaker that I service everything through, both personal and business watches, and he can't service a spring drive. He refuses to touch it. He can't get parts. It's a whole new architecture, so you'd have to learn something brand new. And then on top of that, if I want to service it through Grand Seiko, at least right now, they don't do it locally. They send it to Japan. So when it is time to service this watch, which is, a quartz mechanical hybrid, it's $900 and God knows how many weeks in Japan. No independent servicing here. That is something that really does bother me. And then lastly, and this is probably the most important one, and it's also the one that's the most subjective, hard to describe, but, I'm trying to be as descriptive and honest as possible. I'm having a little trouble connecting with it. Yes, the finishing is great. It's comfortable. It's extremely accurate. It's handsome. But something about knowing that it's spring drive, that there is a quartz crystal regulating it, that it's hard to get past. A lot of people say, yeah, but it has a mainspring. Yes, but the heart of a watch is its regulating mechanism, and that is, the escapement. And this has a quartz escapement. Once again, that is more of my hang-up than anybody else's hang-up. I'm not saying that is something that is wrong with the watch, but I am saying it is something that is kind of hindering my personal experience. So, is it a keeper or am I selling it? God, I hate, leaving you on a cliffhanger. The truth is, I really don't know. Yeah, I'm not connecting with it as much as I would have liked. That is certainly true. However, it's extremely high quality for the most part. I can get over the bracelet. I can kind of get over the buckle. I won't have to service it for a few years. So as of right now, it's served me very well as a travel watch. It really has. I think ultimately I will probably end up moving it on at some point. But as of right now, I'm going to keep wearing it. I'm going to keep enjoying it. I'm going to keep trying to experience this brand, which I may have judged harshly previously. And I'm going to keep trying to learn. And, who knows? I may very well connect with it in a big way. As of right now, not quite happening, but I am thoroughly impressed. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this quick little review. Reviewing a personal watch is hard for me because I'm a very emotional buyer, and that's not something that could be said with cold, hard stats, right? So you may find this review useful, you may not, but those are the things I love about the Grand Seiko and the things that I'm having trouble with. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It really does help. And don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.